Good evening, and I'm really happy to be here tonight to share with you another guest. We have Vanessa Diaz here from New Gen Ministries, and I've been doing a series with a family from Table of Encounter, 1415 Maine, and she's also connected to this family. Sister Sonia Valencia is her mother, and Pastor Carlos, who he shared his story, is her brother. So this is an amazing ministry family, and I just want to welcome you to the studio tonight.
Thank you, Sister Virginia. It's a blessing, and it's my pleasure to be here.
I'm excited to hear your story. One, because I have been a part of going to the church and seeing all the activities, and I've watched you during your time of worship and how dedicated you are to your family, and just being a part of every event that we've got to, from Christmas and anniversaries, and it's just really exciting to see the connection and the role that you play. And the one time that really impacted me, I think, was I believe Pastor Carlos was telling his story that night, and your mom got to tell her story a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And then you got up and you shared your testimony, and you shared your part of the story as an older sister.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, you know what, this is so beautiful to see. It felt like you were almost carrying, I would say, an armor bearer position for your family.
Yeah.
You know, a position of watching and a position of protecting.
Yeah.
And I saw a very stable heart. So that was what really interested me in hearing from you. Because sometimes in families, and I know like there are the exciting ones, and they've all got the friends and they're popular, and then there's the middle child, and I have a middle child. I'm the oldest, and then I have a middle sister, and she watches, right? She watches, and she's always been there with the family, and she's been that stable voice. And so I kind of felt like that's been you in the family role, is just kind of being there and watching and taking care of those things quietly, in the background. And I really felt the love and the protective nature that you had for your family. So I'm hoping tonight you can maybe share what it was like to be raised up in a ministry family, because you have a large family, and I think you have a sister in Calgary, correct?
Yes. An older sister in Calgary, yeah.
Yeah, so she's in ministry as well?
She is in the worship as well in her church out there. My sister and I have always been very involved with music. We grew up with a family that to us was our own, although we weren't related in any way, but this family, their dad specifically, he spent a lot of time with us in music and teaching. Actually, he's the one that taught me to sing.
Wow.
He taught me pretty much everything that I know, as well as my sister. So we've loved music for a long time, and growing up in church, I mean, we fell in love with worship. So she's in worship out there.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is.
I get the sense from you, and just watching you, and I feel like each time that you share about worship, and you share the things that God is doing, you do that with a sense of authority, and you do that with a sense that you really need for the people that are partaking and learning and listening to understand the seriousness of what's happening and what worship means. And so that, as well as love, right? Understanding where God is coming from, and the fact that the ministry and the ministry of worship went ahead of the army, right? When when they marched around the city 7 times,
Yep.
they went first to break barriers in the
Yes.
spirit. And so you're not doing a light job.
No.
And so share how that fits in with being a part of your family. And
I mean, I've understood that there is essentially a battle that occurs when we're worshiping, right? The enemy doesn't want us to worship God. He wants to be worshiped. That was his whole situation, that, right? He thought he was greater. And so with that, he wanted the praise and the worship. I've understood that there is an importance in general, with what God gives you, with what he, the ministry that he gives, right? I don't think it's to be taken lightly. I understand that there's moments where you could have a good time and you could enjoy what you're doing, and there's time for everything. But when it's time to worship, it's time to worship. My family is, I guess, a big lover of music. We're a big lover of worship, and I think there's a difference with the two. Because worship, although it involves singing songs, raising your hands, surrendering to Christ, and letting go of what your situation may be in that moment, we also love music, and we love, different styles of music, different styles of worship. Thinking of it now that you're bringing it up, it actually is a big part of who we are. My uncle, one of my mom's brothers, his name is Mario. He's an amazing singer. I don't know if he knows it, but he is. One of his sons sings. My dad's a singer as well, although he's more into Mexican style music. But my brother, as you know, he's very much into music and worship, and yeah, it's been a big part of us, and I think it's been something that we've been able to share together, something we've been able to enjoy together.
Worship is a lifestyle. It's a
Yes.
complete lifestyle, and learning to live that through, I guess, devotion and dedication to the things of God.
Yeah.
When I understood, even with paying tithing and the giving of finances,
Yes.
that was an act of worship, that we can never pay back the Lord for what he's given us, right?
That's right.
I think so many more people really need to have that ability to not only see there's something in somebody's life, but the seriousness of it and
Yes.
how deep it goes, right? And I really feel that is what you bring to your family and the message that you have out there. Yeah. I'm just thinking too that like your voice is so beautiful, and you really,
thank you.
The anointing that accompanies some of the things that you do. Can you tell when you're singing a song and, let's say, there's healing in the room, right? There's healing happening, or maybe there's deliverance. Like, what are some of those things for you that make a difference when you're up there worshiping?
Yeah. What we generally do before we go up to worship and minister, we always pray. As a Christian in general, we should always be praying, right?
Yeah.
But we always pray that during our worship that we be Spirit-led, that the Spirit may lead. And that is my whole, I guess my whole purpose when I'm up there is that as a worship leader, I carry a responsibility to not only show what worship is in spirit and in truth, but also a responsibility in that I need to show that the Spirit needs to move, right? We say it quite often in that we're not up on that stage to entertain.
Yes.
We're not up there to hear, oh, the voice is beautiful, or Danny plays the music beautifully, which he really does. But thinking of it and looking at it in a spiritual perspective, in that we're worshiping, we've come with a purpose. In terms of being able to sense or feel when there is a deliverance happening or healing, absolutely. And I think that it's only given through the Spirit. As I mentioned previously, it's a sort of war that's happening because the enemy tries to distract. It's like in those moments where random thoughts sometimes try to come at you, whether it be, finances, or, people don't seem like they want to, which I think is a big one. If you ask a worshiper, something that can sometimes get to us is looking into the crowd and seeing that people may not be wanting, or they just may not look like they're receiving, or that they've come to praise and worship. But being able to get past that, and something that I always feel from the Spirit telling me is just keep worshiping. Just make sure that you are doing your part in worship. And God always seems to work through, and then, the service finishes and people were like, God moved, the Spirit moved, the Spirit spoke to me, I received revelation, or, I really needed to praise and worship. And the enemy tries to make you think in that moment, like, God's not moving. And then God gives us confirmation that he did, in fact. And so always wanting to be Spirit-led and, shutting out the distractions and letting God do what he has to do. Because it's not me. It's not Danny. It's not the band. We're just instruments. But it's the Spirit that has to do the work. It's the Spirit that needs to touch, all of our hearts.
In terms of preparing our hearts, and my experience is like with the ministering of the word and stuff like that, always being aware to have my my speech clean or my heart clean, and being prepared. How do you, as a worship leader, keep yourself prepared and kind of on track, like throughout the week, and balance your everyday life in the world, so to speak, and then pulling yourself back into, ministry? And
so what I try to do, and what I try to encourage the team as well, is to make sure that we're giving ourselves time to pray and to read our Bible. Life happens, of course, and it's so easy to get distracted with everything around you. But something that I was actually just telling someone in our team is, what I'll usually do is I'll go to the bedroom, I'll put some music on, some ministering music, and I'll just start praying, and I'll start praising God and just saying, God, you are good, you're amazing, and thinking about the things that you've done for me. And when I feel like the presence of God is with me, that's when I allow myself, and I say, okay, it's time for me to read my Bible. I know that his presence is here. I know that he's ministering to me right now. And so that's when I'll pull out my Bible, whether it be my actual Bible or a Bible app, and I'll start reading the Bible, and trying to do that consistently. And also understanding, like I said, that there's an importance to this, understanding that it's necessary. It's necessary because it's so easy to forget. It's so easy to separate yourself out of distractions. and then you end up one day realizing it's been weeks and I haven't given God time.
Yes.
And I can't expect God to move. I can't expect him to in a sense, respond to my worship if I only want to do it when I'm at church, right? I have to be able to do it on my own time as well. I have to be able to do it like in any relationship. You have to give that relationship time and attention.
Yes.
So that's how I find that has been working for me, because in my past life, trying to be in this life, walking in a Christian path, the path that God has laid out for me, he never said it was going to be easy.
That's right.
Right? But staying focused and recognizing the importance of seeking him and getting to know who he is, it makes me want to read my Bible. It makes me want to, it's almost like a movie. I've actually really fallen in love with reading the Bible, sometime till like 2, 3 in the morning. And I'm like, I just want to know what happened. Like, I want to know what you did, or, but that's what I feel that has really kept me centered. That's really kept me grounded. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just a final question. So in most Christian families, we say, well, I was raised in the church. Well, I grew up like this.
Yep.
But there's a difference when we come into a relationship with him.
Absolutely.
So when was your, I want you to be my Lord and Savior moment with Jesus?
Yeah. I was 14 years old. My dad lived in Texas, and he went to a church where there were a lot of youth members, I think maybe over 50, 60.
Wow.
So there was a lot, and they were all very warm and welcoming. And there was this desire, this fire for Christ. And so, like you said, I was a Christian because I was raised in church, and I was told about this God that loved me and that created me, but I didn't have a relationship with him. And when I went out there with my dad, there was a lot of love for God. There was a lot of, I'm at church because I want to get to know God more and because I love him. And so it encouraged me to want to know who this God is.
Yes.
And why are these people so on fire? Why are these people so in love with God? And of course, at 14, I was going through a lot in my life, still dealing with a lot of family stuff. And so I really allowed myself to get to know God and fell in love with him. Fell absolutely in love with him. And that's when I really chose to have a relationship, and not just because I grew up in church. And a lot of people my age too, a lot of people that were also older, that were out there, and at the time I had kept in touch. It's important. It's important to have people like that around you, no matter what age you are. But to have people have that same belief, to have that same understanding that it's not just a God that you serve, but it's a God that you love, and you have to fall in love with him. Otherwise, it's almost like a job.
Thank you so much for coming today and sharing your heart and sharing your testimony. And I'm looking forward to another visit. And again, I just think that the love that you have when you get up there to sing, it just comes out, and everybody is able to be a part of that relationship that you have. And that's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you for having me.